Everyone, I hope you all are doing well and all of you are safe and healthy. This is Radhika here again, and this video is going to be about empath healing necessities. And we are going to be discussing senses control. Um, so, it's important for empathetic people to have a certain level of control on their senses, like the five senses that we have. And it kind of also helps in the impulse control, which was the previous video in this series. Um, so so let me explain to you like what I mean by senses control. So, if you were born in a narcissistic family or you have been in a narcissistic environment, you will understand that because a lot of the needs that a human has are not being met outside of you, from your parents or from the environment, a lot of time you will go internal and try to help yourself, right? So you must have developed this way of, okay, let me take my autonomy and I will try to soothe myself, help myself in different ways. So, one of the ways in which it's obvious for us to help ourselves is through the senses, right? So, say you have your eyes and you're looking through your eyes and you see like your parent hitting a sibling or something, and you hear your sibling crying out, or maybe your parents are fighting and you hear your mom being in distress or something like that. So what you try to do is you try to like first of all stop listening or seeing that, and then you try to direct your eyes and your ears to something better, right? So a lot of empaths, they use music for healing. They have like a playlist that they listen to all the time, and even in my videos I do suggest that have a music playlist that you have available, have videos that you have available, eat comforting food which is healthy also. So the tongue is another sense that empaths use a lot. Many people also develop addictions because of that, like sugar addiction, mm, caffeine addiction, any food addiction, or alcohol, drugs, etc. So all of that is again sensory, right? You are eating it or you're taking it in, and it kind of plays with your senses a little bit, drugs and stuff. um, and then touch, right? A lot of people, like, they are into porn, and they basically help themselves all the time, in the physical way, and try to get soothing or entertainment that way, right? So it is basically a way of self-soothing. If you look at it, porn is a way of self-soothing yourself, or trying to live a life, or trying to like kind of find more about yourself through what you like, what you dislike, etc. So it's not really so bad. It's basically a way of self-discovery which a lot of people use for some reason. Um so so yeah, and then what else? Hearings, feeling, touching, and all the other senses basically. Even listening, right? So if someone compliments you, if someone praises you, that's another way of self-soothing, because what they say is affecting you in a certain way. So basically, empaths are trying to self soothe themselves all the time by using these different mechanisms, right? Because the environment that they are in is not supporting them in the way they want to grow. So, why do we need to get a control over the senses? And even though, like, I myself recommend using senses in some of the other videos. So, the thing is, use your senses, but don't abuse your senses. So, what happens is when you are on your healing journey, in the beginning it's good to use the senses to soothe yourself, to help yourself, etc. But then there has to come a point where you have to go beyond the soothing, and when you have to accept reality for what it is. So um, like astrologically, this is like the Rohini stage. So you can look up the nakshatra of Rohini. And Rohini is like the innocent child, um, who's very like seductive, who's very sensual, who's very what do you say, like they have so much of innocence in them that they kind of pull out the real negativity in people, and so if you look online, like Marilyn Monroe, she had Rohini, and she would ignite like all these male desires, and women would be like so envious of her, like wish her downfall, and etc etc. So whoever has Rohini energy, what happens is they somehow attract the worst of other people. They pull it out, it's almost like they tend to pull it out because they are so pure, right? Their polarity is so pure and so innocent and so naive and so trusting that they kind of pull it out of people. And why I'm mentioning Rohini here is because Rohini is associated with taste, like in the most infantile stage, a baby wants to eat everything. Whatever it is, he will eat it, he or she, right? Like if they see dirt, they'll eat the dirt. They don't know it's dirt. If they see like a nail on the ground, they can have the nail as well. They don't know what it is. So the only sense that is very pervasive is the sense of taste, and then the other ones as well. But it's a pleasure seeking phase, and that's why I also recommend it, because when you have been in such a polarity of like cruelty, or like where it was so uncomfortable for you to be in that environment, pleasure is necessary, but it's necessary for some time, right? And that's why empaths, or while you're healing, you might go into that like Rohini phase where you want a lot of pleasure in life, you want calm, you want peace, you want quiet, you want food that comforts you, everything that comforts you, because it's a recovery stage, right? But then beyond that point, you have to get over the recovery. Like from the Rohini stage, you have to become more and more smarter, right? And in astrology, the next phase I believe is like Mrigashira, or I might be saying it wrong, but that's like the phase where the Rohini person, they get more, they get smarter. They understand that I have been enjoying my senses in this world, but this world is an illusion, this world is Maya. And in that phase, then the person starts understanding that I am only going to eat what is good for me. I'm only going to see what is good for me. I'm only going to hear what is good for me. And slowly the person starts discriminating between what is good, what is bad. And this is not from a judgment point of view, this is from the person's own cosmic point of view, like how the person wants to evolve cosmically. Do you want to stay stuck in the Rohini phase where you're betrayed again and again and again, or do you want to awaken your discretion, your discrimination, and you want to move away from situations which are not good for you, and you want to awaken the wiser part of yourself which takes care of you, which doesn't put you in danger? um, so yeah, that is the Mrigashira, and in the Mrigashira phase, the senses are heightened, right? So they are still very heightened. The person is very sensitive, but the person is not seeking pleasure. The person can see reality for what it is and can make the right decision. So the person doesn't fall back into the phase of, like just pleasuring yourself through food, through porn, through alcohol, through drugs, etc., etc. They move beyond that. They move beyond and accept that life has pleasure and life has pain, and I can face both, because now that I have kind of soothed myself for a while, I am ready to face life again. So that is why gaining control over your senses and not pleasure seeking is a very important phase in healing for all empaths. And a lot of spiritual traditions will also recommend to you that you have to kind of detach a little bit from your senses. Some go very deep in it, like like Jainism. They are very strict with it. Like um, you can't eat a lot of things, you can't drink alcohol, you can't smoke. If you follow those things, then there are other traditions that do it like on a month basis. Like in Islam and Ramadan, you can't do a lot of things which you usually do. And then, like, it's totally up to you how you want to do it. In Hinduism, we have like days when we don't do it, we have festivals when we fast, etc. But overall, it's good to have like a balance in life where you do things sometimes maybe to soothe yourself, to help yourself, etc. But then you have this discretion which you have, so that you stay in balance, you don't go totally off balance onto like just pleasuring yourself and your senses all the time. And on the other hand, you are not like so dry that you become totally like bored of life, and it's all the time all rules, and you have to just fit into a box. So if you stay on the middle path, which is actually what the Buddha taught, I've that's what I believe is where you might find a lot of your healing and a lot of your stability later on in life. So yeah, that was this video, and I hope this helps you in some way. As always, I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Thank you. Bye.